To me, jazz improvisation is an alchemy of various elements. To me, through my experience and through the experience I had studying with the great teachers that I was fortunate to study with, jazz improvisation can absolutely be taught. It is an absolute subject that anybody can learn. There are basically two parts to that subject. One is what we call musical elements, and that would be the particular nuts and bolts of playing. Technique, scales, arpeggios, voicings, the raw material of music. For jazz, you need to know that at a high level. The theory of music, how progressions work. That's what I call musical elements. The other piece of the puzzle is called improv concepts, what I call improv concepts. And that is how you take those raw materials and make music out of it. And there are specific concepts that can be taught and learned by anyone that will have results where people will be able to learn to improvise. I've tested it for a long time, and it's a groove to watch people learn it and pick it up. And my assertion is it absolutely can be taught. It absolutely can be learned, and it's a specific science. When you talk about jazz teaching, it's a huge subject because everyone who teaches jazz teaches it differently, which is part of the fun of it. There isn't any Royal Conservatory of Jazz where you have certain grades and people follow a prescribed pattern. So who you're studying with will determine the curriculum that you're studying. So I'll stand on a soapbox and say, yes, jazz improvisation can be learned, it can be taught. It's a natural human process. Anybody can do it. Obviously, some people will have more of a talent for it than others and be able to hit higher heights than others just because of their innate makeup, DNA. But jazz improv is a natural human communication that can be taught and learned, and everyone who does it loves it. It is a groove to teach. It's a groove to do. It's a very high art form that coordinates all the highest aspects of human beings: feeling, intellect, spontaneity, technique, physicality, emotion, devotion. All of those aspects combine for the jazz improviser, and everybody can experience that. It's a natural thing for human beings if it's taught in such a way that they can grasp the concepts behind it. Jazz improvisation is a language, and it's like I had a chance to do a master class with Dick Hyman, which was a marvelous experience, a great man, a great pianist, and the day he was with us, he was phenomenal. And as I said to him in that class, it was like two people speaking Swahili that met each other in the desert. So when you speak a common language, then you can talk to each other in that language. So it's such a deep subject, but it basically comes down to, I think, a higher process of thought than just speech, where you're communicating in primal language. And when you're doing it in a group, you're conversing in a language, in a high language. And so if people need to be at a similar level in their understanding of that language in order to have the merging experience when they play. But if you find people that are at a similar level that you are, it's an instant connection. And so it's a language, it's a conversation, but of a very refined type.